Hey Vikings! My name's Kayla Lopez and I'm the Financial Aid Outreach Coordinator here at Del Mar College. Today we'll be completing the FAFSA application for the 2021-2022 academic year using 2019 tax information. If you have not yet created an FSA ID, please do so now. Now let's get started.
Alright guys, so this is the homepage for the FAFSA application. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and click Login. From here, you are going to click I am the student. Go ahead and enter your FSA ID username, email address, or phone number, and your FSA ID password. So now you're going to go ahead and click Next. Alrighty, so from there you are going to get this disclaimer. You can go ahead and read up on it. It is simply telling you that you are now entering the U.S. Department of Education's application. So you can go ahead and click Accept. And it is going to take you to your home page. So what we are going to be doing now is completing the 2021-2022 FAFSA application using 2019 tax information. So we will go ahead and click right here. Now I'm going to create a save key. It can be 4 to 8 characters or digits, whatever you'd like. But go ahead and write this down because this save key is going to serve as your temporary password for this application. So go ahead and enter that save key and click Next. So here is a breakdown of the FAFSA, some questions and just information for you. We are going to click Next again and then go ahead and get started. So here you're going to make sure that your name, your social, your date of birth is entered correctly, and go ahead and enter in your middle initial if you have one. Go ahead and click Next. Now we are going to enter our email address. So you can go ahead and enter your email address here and re-enter it. And your telephone number. And next. And you're now going to enter your mailing address. And click Next. So now it's going to ask you questions about your residency. So have you lived in Texas for at least 5 years? I'm going to say yes. Are you a U.S. citizen? Here are your choices. And I'm going to say yes, I am a U.S. citizen. And next. So now it's going to ask my high school completion status. So I'm completing this application as if I am a current high school senior. So I'm going to say I'm going to be receiving my high school diploma. What college degree or certificate will I be working on? I'm going to say I'm going to go for my first bachelor's degree. Even if you're not sure, even if you are going to be pursuing a associate's degree first and then going on with your bachelor's degree, it is completely fine to go ahead and just click first bachelor's degree for that question. Will I already have a bachelor's degree by fall 2021? The answer is no. And what will my college grade level be when entering college? I'm going to go ahead and click never attended college first year. Even if you guys are dual credit students and you have a bunch of hours under your belt, you're going to want to go ahead and click never attended college first year anyway, just because there are some awards that are specifically for freshman students and you don't want to miss out on any of those opportunities because of a technicality that maybe considers you a sophomore or a junior instead of being a first year student. So you can always contact your financial aid office later on to update this information as far as how many hours you have, but for now, go ahead and click never attended college first year. Now, are you interested in being considered for work study? I'm going to go ahead and click yes. I do encourage students to click yes as well. So this question is not saying that you are for sure committing to getting a work-study job. It's just letting the financial aid office know that you are interested and may want to pursue working on campus. I'm going to go ahead and click next. All right, so are you a male or a female? So me completing this application, I'm going to go ahead and click female, and then I would click next. Now, if you are a male between the age of 18 and 25, you are required to register for selective service in order to receive financial aid. So even if you are already registered, you know you're already registered, I still encourage you to click that you have not yet registered and that you would like to be registered for selective service. What this does is, just in case, let's say you think that you've registered before, but you actually haven't, and you go ahead and click that you're already registered, later on the financial aid office goes and determines that you haven't registered yet, that could put a delay on your financial aid award and just, require more documentation later on. So by clicking no and then yes that you want to be registered, this goes ahead and eliminates any of those possibilities so that there is nothing holding you back from getting your financial aid award offer. If you have any questions or want to learn more about selective service, you can visit studentaid.gov and read about selective service and what all that means for you. And now we are at the student's driver's license question. So if you have a driver's license, go ahead and input that number now. If you do not have a driver's license, that is okay. You will go ahead and click next. Okay, so this next question is asking, are you a foster youth or were you at any time in the foster care system? So I'm going to go ahead and select no. The next question is asking the highest school completed by parent 1 and the highest school completed by parent 2. This question is asking about your biological parents. It is not going to count against you or be used to determine financial aid eligibility. Some states do have programs that can be awarded to students based on the highest school completed by their parents, and so that is what this question is going to go to. If your parents are divorced, if you have a step-parent, if you are in a legal guardianship, again, none of this is going to count against you for any reason. You can go ahead and just answer these questions, and if you are unsure, there is an option to say other or unknown. So you will answer both of these questions and then go ahead and click next. This next question is going to ask the name of your high school, what city your high school is located, and the state that your high school is located. It is super important that you guys remember to confirm your high school, and I'm going to show you why now. So guys, in my example, I'm going to go ahead and list Tuloso Midway High School in Corpus Christi, Texas. And you guys will see how important it is to confirm your school. So if I didn't confirm and I clicked next, I would have went on with my application not thinking anything of it. But what I didn't know is by clicking confirm, there's actually multiple Tuloso Midway options that I can choose from. So I'm going to want to go ahead and click this first option that says Tuloso Midway High School in Corpus Christi to make sure that it doesn't send me with this other option of the Academic Career Center or of their primary school. If FAFSA is not able to determine which high school you graduated from, this could definitely cause some problems later on that could potentially delay you getting a financial aid award offer. So just to be safe, always click confirm and always select your high school from the list of options. Now I'm going to go ahead and click next. And here is where I'm going to list up to 10 schools that I would like to send my FAFSA to. So I always encourage students to send it to at least 2 or 3 different schools that they are going to be applying to or that they've already applied to. It is completely fine if you don't end up applying to these schools or if you don't end up attending the schools that you send your FAFSA to. What this is going to do is just send them their application so that they can review it in the case that you do apply and get accepted. Also really important to note that a school is not going to process your application until you have been accepted to that school. Reason being, I'm sure you can imagine that a lot of FAFSAs get sent to all the different schools out there, and it would be a lot of busy work for the financial aid offices to process every single application, especially when a lot of the times the students don't end up applying. So with that being said, it's really important to make sure that you apply to the schools and that you get accepted to the schools before your application for FAFSA is processed and before you get that award offer. So what I'm going to do is select Texas. You can choose city or school name, it's both optional. So I'm going to go ahead and just list the school name, Del Mar College, search, and here Del Mar College pops up in Corpus Christi, Texas with the federal school code. I will check off this box right here, go ahead and click next, and I can now see that it is in my list of schools to send my FAFSA application. I will go ahead and select my housing plans. Since Del Mar College currently does not offer on-campus housing, I'm going to live off-campus or with parent, so I'll select off-campus. And then if I want to see the college info, I'll click right here. If I want to add more schools, I can click this button and it'll take me right back to the beginning. So at this time, guys, you can go ahead and add some schools that you're interested in attending. If you'd like to come back to this later on, that is completely fine. Once you get to the end of the application, you can save where you are, always come back to the school selection page, add some more schools before finally going to sign and submit your application. Okay guys, so the next question is, what is your marital status as of today? Please keep in mind we are still on student information. So what is your marital status as of today? I'm going to go ahead and click single. But the other options are married, remarried, separated, divorced, or widowed. Go ahead and click next. Now it's asking, do I have any children that will receive more than half of their support from me between July 1st, 2021 and June 30th, 2022? I'm going to click no. And it's now asking, do I have any dependents who live with me and who will receive more than half of their support from me between now and June 30th, 2022. And I'm going to go ahead and click no. And next. So there's a couple of other additional dependency questions. Are you currently serving on active duty in the U.S. Armed Forces for purposes other than training? Are you a veteran of the U.S. Armed Forces? At any time since you turned age 13, were both your parents deceased? Were you in foster care, or were you a dependent or ward of the court? As determined by a court in your state of legal residence, are you or were you an emancipated minor? Does someone other than your parent or step-parent have legal guardianship of you, as determined by a court in your state of legal residence, or none of the above? So I'm going to go ahead and click none of the above, and next. Next question is, on or after July 1st, 2020, were you homeless or were you self-supporting and at risk of being homeless? I'm going to go ahead and click no. And next. So based on the answers to the dependency questions, I am considered a dependent student and must provide parent information. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this option checked off that says I will provide information about my parents and click next. So guys, here is where it starts asking about parent information. So if you are completing the application right now with your parent present, you can go ahead and continue through having them answer these questions about themselves. If you're ever not sure if it's asking about student or parent information, you can check this banner right here and it will specify. If you do not have your parent available and are unsure of this information, what you're going to want to do is click save right here so that it can save your application up until this point, and you can log back in at a later time with your parent present so that you can continue through the application. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and continue as if my parents were here with me. So as of today, what is the marital status of your parents? Here are your options. There is never married, unmarried and both legal parents living together, married or remarried, divorced or separated, or widowed. I'm going to go ahead and click married or remarried. When did your parents get married or remarried? Hopefully you guys know this information. I'm going to go ahead and click January of 2000. All right, that's just my example, by the way. So I'm going to go ahead and click next. So here is where you're going to have to enter your parent's social security number, last name, first initial, date of birth, and your parent's email address. So I'll give you guys some time to enter that. Now for parent 2. And next. So again, still asking about parent information. Have your parents lived in Texas for at least 5 years? I'm going to go ahead and click yes. And next. So now it's asking about my household size. So FAFSA automatically includes 2 parents since I selected that my parents were married or remarried. It will input 1 for myself. And then here it's asking if my parents have any other children that they will provide more than half of their support for during the time frame of July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. I'm going to go ahead and click 1. And then other people in your household, if they now live with your parents, if your parents provide more than half of their support, and if your parents will continue to provide more than half of their support from July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. And I'm going to put 0, that nobody else lives in the household. With this information, FAFSA has determined that there is 4 people in my household, which would be my 2 parents, myself, and my sibling. Down below, it's going to ask how many people in your household will be in college between July 1st, 2021 and June 30th, 2022, and I'm only going to list myself. So based on this information, there is 4 members of my household and 1 in college. Alright guys, so here we are getting into the parent income information. So for 2019, have your parents completed their IRS income tax return or another tax return? I'm going to go ahead and select yes, they already completed. Again, the 2021-2022 FAFSA will be using 2019 tax information only. What type of income tax return did your parents file for 2019? The options are IRS 1040, foreign tax return, IRS 1040 NR, or IRS 1040 NR EZ, or a tax return with Puerto Rico, a U.S. territory, or freely associated state. So I'm going to go ahead and click IRS 1040. And then for 2019, what is your parents' tax filing status according to their tax return? I'm going to go ahead and click Married Filed Joint Return. You can see the other options listed here. It is now going to give me the option to go ahead and link my parents' tax information using the IRS data retrieval tool. So I will go ahead and click this blue button saying Link to IRS. Now that we are here, guys, the option it's given you is to have parent 1 or parent 2 input their FSA ID and password so that you can access the data retrieval tool and have their information automatically transferred from the IRS directly into the FAFSA application. So it is very important to note that each student must have at least 1 parent in their household with an FSA ID so that they can go ahead and sign the application and also use the data retrieval tool. And I'm sorry, it is each dependent student must have at least 1 parent in their household with that FSA ID. So if your parent does not have an FSA ID yet, you are going to want to make sure that they do create one whenever they can. If you already have one created, you'll be able to assist your parents with making that ID with just any questions that they may have. So since I do not have a parent with an FSA ID that I could show you guys the data retrieval tool, I'm going to go ahead and go back to the FAFSA saying skip IRS data retrieval tool and input the numbers manually. So I'm going to go ahead and just throw out some numbers here. And it is asking for my parents' adjusted gross income for 2019. If you use a data retrieval tool, all of your information is going to be transferred. However, you still will need to input parent 1 and parent 2's wages, salaries, and tips for 2019. So just a heads up about that. That question does not transfer. So you are going to want to go ahead and input information for parent 1 and parent 2. And if you use a data retrieval tool, you'll pretty much be able to skip through the next couple questions until you hit the student financial section. If you're inputting your information manually, that is completely fine. You can go ahead and follow the instructions on the questions, letting you know which lines to go to. And if you have any questions, go ahead and click on this blue circle with the question mark for more information. So I'm going to go ahead and go through this parent information up until we get to student information. Alright guys, so now that we are done with the parent financial information, we're going to move on to student information. So students, the question is, for 2019, have you completed your IRS income tax return or another tax return? I'm going to go ahead and click Already Completed. What income tax return did you file for 2019? I will select IRS 1040. And what is your tax filing status according to your tax return? I'm going to select Single. What this is going to do is now prompt me to go to Link to the IRS. And you will here have to input your FSA ID and password to access the data retrieval tool login page. If you have already signed in with your FSA ID at the beginning of the application, then this part will probably not be here, and it will just automatically send you to the IRS data retrieval tool login screen. If you are not going to be using the data retrieval tool, because again it is not required, you can go ahead and click Skip IRS data retrieval tool and it will bring you back to the tax information. I do again highly encourage you to use the data retrieval tool if possible, because it just lessens the chance of you making any mistakes and also helps expedite the financial aid or the FAFSA application, as far as not having to input your information line by line and going through the tax return and all of your documents. So it's completely up to you, however, it is highly encouraged. So we'll go ahead and go through the student tax information. Alright guys, so this is the next page that you're going to get to once you input your student financials. So the question is asking, are you a preparer? And the answer is no. It says this is rare, and it definitely is. A preparer is somebody who you pay to do your FAFSA for you pretty much, so that is going to be a no, even if you're getting assistance from somebody else. We're going to go ahead and click Next. And so now it's going to give you a summary of all the information that you have input to the FAFSA application. So you can go ahead and double check those answers. If you need to go back and add any schools, this would be a great time to do it. Any schools that you want to send your FAFSA application to. And then go ahead and look over your information. Then right here on the bottom, you're going to click Next. Alright guys, this next page is asking for the signatures. So we're going to go ahead and start with the parent signature needed. Go ahead and click Provide Parent Signature. You will then click on Parent 1 or Parent 2, whichever parent has the FSA ID or will be signing your FAFSA application. Go ahead and click Agree, then click Next. Now if your parent does not have an FSA ID, that is completely fine. You can go ahead and click Other Options to sign and submit, and then go ahead and click Print a Signature Page. This will allow you to print that signature page, have your parent sign it, and then you can mail it back to the address listed to the Department of Education so that they will go ahead and process it. It does take about 4 to 8 weeks to process a signature page, so go ahead and get this completed at your earliest convenience so that you don't have any delays with your financial aid award package. Go ahead and click Next. And then here you're going to provide the student signature. So you will go ahead, click Agree, click Next, and then enter your FSA ID and password if you haven't already done so. Go ahead and sign your application, and you are done. It doesn't let me show you guys since I'm not actually signing it, but what's going to happen is after you sign it, you'll see that both signatures have been provided. you can go ahead and click submit, and then you will get a congratulations page that says that you have successfully completed your FAFSA, and it will then let you know your expected family contribution. You will also get a copy of that confirmation page emailed to the email address you listed for yourself. Now that we have completed the FAFSA application, the next step is going to be to make sure you are checking your student email. If there is any requirements that come up, that is how you are going to be notified. Also, make sure to check your financial aid checklist for any updates from our office. As soon as we begin to process FAFSA applications for the upcoming year, we will notify you that your application is being processed, and then shortly after, hopefully get that financial aid award package sent over. Alright guys, so now that we are done with the FAFSA application, I'm going to bring us back to the Del Mar College financial aid webpage. Again, we are here for you guys, whether it be through phone, email, through our virtual appointments, however we can assist, please do not hesitate to reach out. Hopefully this step-by-step is going to help you complete your FAFSA application early so that you can get that early financial aid award offer and know what your expenses and your financials are going to look like a little bit more clearly for the upcoming school year. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and stay safe.